Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the workshop. Today is part 2 of working on the Damascus steel hand plane blades for the Dustin collaboration. He is another maker on YouTube. He makes some awesome videos. He's going to be making the wooden plane bodies themselves. I'll make sure his stuff is down below. In the meantime, the forge has been lit. The piece of steel has been ground, cut up, restacked. It's in the forge. It's now time to go into the press. I've decided we're gonna squeeze it together, forge weld it, and then start taking slices off on the bandsaw. We've got both the slabs cut on the bandsaw, they're in the fire. It's time to forge them down. So on this piece, on this one side, it's cracked and opened up at the weld seams. Patterns coming through beautifully. I don't know how much of an issue those cracks are going to be once it's worked out. I should be able to grind it off. Hopefully this turns out good. More delamination right there. I don't know if this one will work. I can't tell if this is the one that had the other problem or not. We'll have to see once we start grinding it. I'm gonna keep working it. We might get it long enough that we can cut it off there and it'll be all right. We'll see how it goes. So these have been ground on the sides to 120 grit. So got it flat here on the platen. I don't know how flat exactly it is. Belts aren't notoriously the most accurate way to get something flat. That's going to be done on sandpaper on a graphite plate over there a little bit later. But for now, there is a couple issues here with these pieces. One, most notably, the last minute I was working on this one, I'm grinding away with a magnet right here to hold it, and it slips and it got caught right there while the machine was running. I slapped the off switch, but this 120 grit belt took a hell of a chunk out of it, which is a real shame because these pieces are not the best pieces in the world in terms of being crack free. There is one crack in this, I believe, that runs longitudinally, and this piece right here also has a little bit of a crack, a little bit of a place where it didn't weld. Overall, I'm pretty pleased. I thought it would be a lot worse when I was forging it there. You know, you remember seeing those 7 cracks that opened up. Well, most of those ground out with the initial grinding. The next and most important part here is going to be getting my sides to be flat, parallel, and straight. That's important because obviously, you know, it's going to be good to have a very accurate measurement on the sides. Okay, so I've milled the sides, and we've got the crack out on the one side behind it, I think, and I think it's going to be just fine. I wanted to do as little as possible as I went so that we weren't taking it too thin. It's not as thick, not as wide as I wanted it to be initially. We were initially hoping to do a 50 millimeter. It's my mistake in the forging to not prepare enough in the preform so that when I flattened it out, it didn't end up as wide as I wanted. That's my bad. But what we now have is we have 44.7 millimeters width or so, which is very good because that is just a tiny bit wider than 1.75 inches exactly. So now before heat treat, I think that's a perfect tolerance to leave that before we do any other stuff to it. It's now time to really have a very good think about where the good material is, because as you'll know, I done messed it up on the grinder, and there are some cracks in this stuff. I messed it up on the grinder there. The ends here, that's unideal, that's unideal. What I think we're gonna have to do is use the middle portion, but I don't wanna have to think about it. If I put this in the acid is likely gonna tell me exactly where the cracks are. So that is gonna be the next step. These are gonna go into the acid. We're gonna have a look at it, a very good look at it, and decide where the cracks are, decide where the good material is, decide where to cut these things, and what the length of them is gonna be. Just gonna give them a quick polish up before we go in, make sure they're nice and clean. A little bit of a degrease. Right, in we go for our test etch with piece number 1 and piece number 2. Oakley dokley, and I need a bucket of water so that we can neutralize the acid. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, as you know, Christmas time is coming up. And Christmas time is a very, very special time of year. And of course, it is time to celebrate. Now, Alec, how are you gonna celebrate? Oh my goodness, that pattern is cool. Oh, I messed one of them up though. I got one of them in the wrong orientation, but it still looks epic. And we're gonna neutralize the acid. So how is it that we are going to celebrate Christmas time? Well, as you'll know, on the merchandise site where we have all our awesome merchandise, we did some limited runs that you guys absolutely love. Since it's Christmas, for this week only, and so that you can get it in time for Christmas. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all coming back this week only. This is a special, special week. We've got the fantastic tee, the sword tee, the axe tee. We've even got British roots and cowboy boots. We've also got ladies' shirts. We've got bags. We've got phone cases. We've got all the stuff. We're pulling out the stops. And if you get it in this week, we're going to make sure that wherever it is you order it, you have it in time for Christmas so you can give it to your loved one. If you have somebody and they don't know what gift to get you, tell them to go to alecsteelshop.com this week and get all this limited edition stuff that we're bringing back this week only. It's going to be a lot of fun to see you guys wearing the awesome merch. Oakley dokley. So it's now time to have a look at the pattern, see what it looks like. So as I said, this is exciting and problematic. It's exciting because the patterns are beautiful, but it's problematic because I said patterns plural. This was meant to be one pattern, the same piece. What we have instead, it looks like on this piece, when I took the billet that we cut in the bandsaw, I forged it out in the wrong orientation, i.e. we had stacked it up 7 pieces high, and I wanted to take those 7 pieces and have them go lengthways down the piece. Here, what it looks like I have the 7 pieces going sideways up the piece. So after a little bit of thought and also finding out that this one, the one with the pattern that I messed up, had a crack in it. See, if that's it, that's a big problem. Oh no! Though Dustin wanted very kindly to make me a plane, and so that's why I started making 2 of them, so I could send him 2 blades so that he could make me one too, which is very kind of him. I've decided that we're short of time. This video has already taken multiple days to film. We need to get it going, and this one has a crack that's right in the middle and is going to make life so difficult. We're just going to stick with the good one, and so we're going to keep working on that. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into the grinding room, and we are going to angle grind off the ends, and then we're going to start putting a bevel in there, a very, very rough bevel, before we then go on to the hand sanding process, flattening it off perfectly on the granite plate in time for heat treat, a successful quench, hardening the blade, tempering it, and then it's back to hand sanding to get it all ready for the etch. So that piece is now in the tempering oven. I'm going to leave it in there at 200 degrees Celsius for about an hour, 2 hours, something like that. And that should leave it hard enough to be able to keep the edge, soft enough to not chip. That is the plan. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, this is so exciting for this week and this week only. All of the Fantastic Limited Edition merch is back on the website in time for Christmas. Make sure you get your Christmas orders in at the website. I'm very excited to see the photos of you guys wearing all this merchandise. It's a wonderful way to support the channel. I'm so excited because tomorrow we're going to finish off these plain blades. Make sure that you go subscribe to Dustin Penner. His channel link is in the description also. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you tomorrow.